Well, that's how this is exactly how like a team meeting should start. You know, things happen, and hopefully they get around to making it better. Just like I hope that Mojang gets around to making Bedrock Edition better. You know, it all is the same thing at the end of the day.
I just wonder, pink glitch.
Right.
Yeah, are you aware of the pink glitch? You are, right?
I was told about it, and then I somehow forgot about it before. Like, I'll say that video, the one where I really go into Mojang and Bedrock Edition, I'm ashamed that I missed talking about Console Edition and the pink glitch and input lag, which I didn't really make mention of aside from very quickly. Like, there's a few things I'm ashamed I missed, but I think that caused what happened was it caused people who knew about those bugs, who knew I forgot it, to make those comments. So it led to higher engagement, which was not really my goal. I don't think of YouTube in terms of views and comments quite that way. I try and think about it in more of a human terms. So like why people are making comments, you know, why people enjoy the content. Right. So yeah, oh my goodness though.
I'm sorry if I missed it in the video, but did you talk about Render Dragon in that video? Because I know that's a massive issue as well.
I'm unaware of like I've heard about this Render Dragon issue, but I'm actually quite unaware of it. So far as I understand, when RTX shading was applied to Bedrock Edition, they changed the lighting rendering engine, which as far as what problems specifically that has resulted in, I'm not sure, but I have noticed a performance degradation in Bedrock Edition over the past year or so. I used to praise it because you would get like 1 billion FPS at like 48 render distance.
A lot.
And now it's like it's like I struggle at 24 now, and that's where my Java Edition line is. So like Bedrock's one benefit that I've always given it is like it's losing traction to these communities that I'm just going to say it flat out because they deserve more, but they work for scraps when it comes to making these mods. Some of them don't. Some, you know, like Sonic Aether, if you've ever seen his Patreon and how much he makes, like, oh my God. So it is possible to, you know, do well being a mod creator, but mod communities are besting a multi-trillion-dollar company.
I used to make command block tutorials on Minecraft Bedrock Edition. I used to like create a whole bunch of stuff. I know it's like it's nothing compared to mods. Like I can never compare it to mods because like some of the stuff that people do is nuts. But even like sometimes the command block tutorials, they would like even doing commands on Bedrock Edition was so scuffed compared to Java. There was so much you could do on Java, like getting player heads and all this kind of stuff. And it just from what I know now, it's still not even a feature on Bedrock Edition. It's just like there's a lot of stuff that's missing and a lot of bugs in Bedrock Edition.
Like it comes down to something as simple as if you do a Control A in the command block interface in Bedrock Edition, you cannot see that text is selected, and sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, and it's like you don't quite know what you're doing. It's like it's almost better to type your commands into a notepad and paste them into Bedrock Edition because it's so unusable.
You can't do it on Xbox, mobile, DS.
But then Bedrock Edition has this like absolutely awesome structure block UI where like you can see the structure that's going to be imported in the arrangement in a way that you can't quite do in Java Edition without a mod. So it's like in some weird little ways Bedrock Edition slaps, but in most ways it doesn't.
Yeah, you can import. You can even export 3D models in Bedrock with structure blocks. I figured that out a few weeks ago when I tried that with Java. Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. With more features like that on the platform that was supposed to be like, you know, Bedrock Edition was supposed to be this, you know, really well refined version of Minecraft built from the ground up when Microsoft bought Mojang, like, and the mission like from the beginning was really good, and it was good for a while, and then the issues started to creep in, and it was as if Mojang, at least Mojang Redmond, the Redmond office are the ones that mostly develop Bedrock Edition. It almost felt like they started to ignore it, and I just don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, for a player's perspective, like every time the game updates, there's just more bugs that come in that are just either game breaking or just make I guess things worse. Yeah. So what people do, like they download like a .appx file to like to downgrade their Minecraft on PC, so they don't have to deal with a lot of issues. But it comes to the problem when stuff like servers and stuff like only limit us like a latest version, if you know what I mean.
But they have to.
Sure.
That's the problem. They have to do that for the server to grow.
Well, yeah, if they go through Mojang's authentication process. Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying in Bedrock you have to be in the latest version to be like within Mojang's online mode?
So, have you ever played...
Or servers, yeah.
Have you ever played servers on Bedrock
What?
Edition? And have you ever played any, like recently in the past like 2-3 months, have you ever played any servers like the Hive or Galaxite by any chance?
Not more than just logging in to see that they work. But as far as a gameplay perspective, no, I've not at all.
Okay, so Hive is a server that both Jake and I play on, and if you ever to play Bedrock Edition, even if it's for a video, maybe I don't know what kind of videos you make.
Yep.
But I'd recommend playing the Hive, and I'm sure you would as well, Jake. Right?
I'm glad to hear that, because the Hive used to be super duper popular on Java Edition, so it's nice to know that they didn't go sour.
They did a little bit. They did for a little bit. Yeah, for like a very short period, but then they brought it back.
That means someone at the top has a conscience.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah, Jake, you go on. Sorry.
It does kind of give us a really bad look when there's like 5 or 6 servers that are so old and have never been updated, and then there's just like 2 or 3 good servers, but that no one pays attention to because again, if you look at the server list, it's all randomized every time you log on, so it's not going to be in a specific order. It's just going to be in a random order.
Oh, it's so
and Hive could literally be like behind the scroll, and you wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? So
like,
and then people
Mojang could just implement like a solution themselves so easily as a multi-billion-dollar company. Like they're getting owned by Geyser, who, I mean, I don't know how. Have either of you ever heard of Geyser, the plugin system that allows for cross-platform between Java and Bedrock?
Yeah, I know how that works, but I've never heard of the company. That makes sense.
Sure. I mean, as long as you know the concept, with Geyser, you can not only, like I did make a video on this, you could not only join Bedrock Edition, Java Edition servers from Bedrock, though it involved a janky like 2 login system because, you need a legal Java Edition account. But goodness, what else was I even gonna say from there? I actually straight up just had a brain fart. Not even gonna lie.
I guess while you think of that, what I was gonna say is, so on the Hive server, for example, sometimes they'll, because if you ever get a chance to look around it, or even Galaxite's another perfect example of that. They have all these like crazy UIs that they'd only, for example, only be able to do on 1.19. So they have to force the server, like what used to be on the Hive, for example, used to downgrade to about, I think it was 1.16, Jake. That was like
1.16.100. Yeah. And then the community got really mad when the owners had to go above that on 1.17, and no one was allowed to downgrade anymore. And that's when render render dragging was introduced as well. So ping glitch became such a problem.
And there's also never glitch. Have you ever heard of never glitch and Venom?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the
switching like servers and worlds? It can sometimes just bug out the like the nether screen, and it will just go there forever. You just have to restart.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't even know how bad it had gotten, and I was already mad enough to make another video, and I didn't even know it was so bad. I had no idea about the server downgrading stuff. And the point I was going to make there before was that Geyser making that plugin system to make those cross compatible is they're absolutely owning Mojang, because Mojang could so easily develop something like that to just make a really like streamlined system for allowing Java Edition servers to host Bedrock Edition players, which in turn would allow for Bedrock Edition to tout having support with more servers. But it feels like Mojang is so short-sighted now that they don't even see that. They could own this space and make so much more money, but because God forbid they think that it's going to cost them another $1 or take another ounce of effort, they choose not to do anything. And I don't know who at Mojang or Microsoft is the cause of that problem, but they need to be fired.
I guess not to shit on your idea here, but can I maybe say like a counterpoint to that being a good idea?
Sure, I'm not saying that would be the exact right idea, but what I'm saying is the concept of modding teams making things like this that totally raffle stomp on Mojang's ability to do anything right now. It's like, it's embarrassing. I'm not saying that that's the exact right solution, but it is a solution that gets us part of the way there.
But you gotta remember as well, like Bedrock Edition you can bridge by looking at the block in front of you. You can't do that on Java Edition. Bedrock Edition is always fast PvP. The new Java Edition PvP is slow hit. So how exactly, for server wise, how would that work? How would a Java player on 1.19 play Bedrock 1.19? Because they have completely different PvP, completely different bridging methods. So did this thing offer a resolution to that, or like how did that go about?
Well, that's how this is exactly how like a team meeting should start for solving those problems. You would try and come up with as many of these problems as you can and tackle them one by one. So the combat system could be tackled as easily, just as easily as has servers that are cross-compatible only use the Bedrock Edition format, or I have also seen that there are Bedrock Edition implementations of using the new combat system on Bedrock Edition. It's a little bit weird. I think I showed it in my cross-compatibility video, but Mojang with their power could just as easily silently implement a cross-compatible combat system that would work both ways, and it could be up to the server architecture to determine what combat style you're on, and that would instantly solve that problem, even though new players joining those servers would always have to test it to know which combat style it uses. So if it's a server that clearly favors Java Edition players because it uses the new combat system, or even the old combat system, then that's just a problem you would tackle one at a time, and that's how you would do it with any one of those problems. In gaming, especially with Minecraft, and it blows my mind that Mojang doesn't fix these issues. If there's a problem in the game, you fix it kind of no matter what the technical way is to fix it. If there's a problem, you fix it and make your game better, even if it takes a couple dollars to fix it. You can hear that I'm very much frustrated with Mojang right now. You can just hear it pouring out of me.
So I guess while we're talking about Bedrock Edition, so with all of this, with all your general feelings, which is completely warranted, by the way, if you talk to any Bedrock Edition player,
we completely agree. Yeah, we completely agree.
We are all part of a community called the Hive community. There's a massive Discord about it. You could ask 100 people in that Discord, and 95% of the people would say to you every single issue of Bedrock. There's this one YouTuber. I'm just gonna name drop Kaifi, and he's famously known, and I kid you not, he's famously known as Pink Glitch Guy. That's not the name for it. I just made that name up. But he's the only player somehow to get his entire Minecraft pink.
Yeah, and he's on console as well. He's not even on the worst mobile ever. He's on console, which is incredible.